Hello and welcome to Anime Animosity, and it's time for another seasonal rundown of the past year. In fact, entirely a year ago, as we're back to summer of 2020. Now, this season has much less anime than some of the other seasons I've talked about, and as a result, I only really have the first two rows that you can see on screen to talk about, with a few standouts a little bit further down. So this will probably be much shorter of a video. But that doesn't really matter, because I'm going to talk about them anyway. So let's get right into it with the first one. As you can see, these are sorted by popularity, so this implies that the most popular anime of last season was Demon King Academy, Mao Gakuin no Fute Ki Gosha. Now, this show had absolutely no right to be as good as it was. Genuinely, this show was fantastic. It was so enjoyable. It has no right to be, given how power fantasy and it's super generic, super power fantasy trash, but it's fantastic. It knows what it is and it doesn't care, and it plays with that. At least I hope it does. I hope it's self-aware, because if it isn't, that actually if it isn't self-aware, that makes it better because of how ridiculous this all is. It feels like it's trying to be satire, but if it isn't trying to, that's even funnier. But genuinely, this show, fantastic, and I honestly can't wait for the second season, both cores of the second season, to come out whenever they do. Although, with this show, in tragic news, the author of, now I'm not sure if it's the manga or the light novel, not the author, the artist, sorry, for the manga or light novel, passed away, which is obviously very sad. It means we won't be getting more of either the manga adaptation or any more of the light novel. I believe it's the manga, so the story will at least continue in one form or another. But with that out of the way, we'll move on to a slightly worse show from summer 2020 in The God of High School. Now, in terms of visuals, Mappa killed it. They went hard. This show looks fucking fantastic, but as a show and an adaptation of the original webtoon, it's mediocre. It's very rushed, and there's not a lot to it until toward the halfway point, and then from there it's very, very rushed, especially the last couple of episodes. It, while enjoyable and worth a watch if you just want to see some really good action, some really good fights, but if you want a good story, then this probably isn't the best show to check out. But it isn't bad by any stretch, it's just underwhelming in terms of storytelling and character development. But like I said, it isn't bad, it looks fucking gorgeous, and I haven't read the webtoon, so I don't know how good of an adaptation it is, other than what I've heard through word of mouth, and that it isn't the best adaptation. But if you just like action, this is a fantastic show. But if you want a bit more than that, you can still give it a watch, but I feel like there are better options out there if you want a show with good action and good storytelling. Speaking of which, ReZero Season 2, Part 1. Is this Part 1 or is this Part 2? I couldn't tell you. But it's one of the parts. ReZero Season 2. Absolutely fucking incredible. Like, honestly, this is amazing. ReZero is, all in all, one of my favourite anime, full stop. And the second season cemented that even further. The second season was so good. In my personal opinion, better than the first. That's not even an exaggeration. It was truly not quite a masterpiece, but it's getting close. Honestly, ReZero is incredible. If you haven't checked it out, I know it's long. First season's 24 episodes, and then they've got two parts of the second season, 48 episodes long. It is long, and the first season is very dense. To be fair, all of the episodes are very, very dense. The episodes are also very long. Well, I say very long. They're about half an hour long, and that's like actually they're about half an hour long. But trust me, ReZero is 100% worth your time. It's one of the best isekai out there. Check this out. honestly one of the best shows of this season. If I'm looking at this from a non-personal aspect, it probably is the best show of the season. But I have a personal aspect toward this season. But we'll get onto that. I didn't watch Sword Art Online because fuck that shit. And we move on to Enen no Shobutai ni no Sho. Now I talked about this in the last season of Rundown Retrospective because, well, it carried on into that season, and I put my thoughts there. But given this is the first part, I'll actually say that this is much better than it was in the future season, simply because the first part of it was just a lot better. I really enjoyed the first about, I don't know, 16 episodes, of which most of were in summer of 2020. All in all, actually was a really good season. Well, the first part of it was really enjoyable, but as I said, it fell off for me after that. But that's just how sometimes things are. That was really good English, but that's just how things are. It'd be like that when it be like that, especially when it be like that. But as a series as a whole, Fire Force is actually pretty good. It's by the author of Soul Eater. Don't know why that took me so long to figure out, but it is actually pretty good. It is very much. It's not exactly like Soul Eater. It's not a modern day Soul Eater, says the guy that hasn't watched Soul Eater, but it has, from what I've heard, again through word of mouth, elements of Soul Eater and has a similar feel, but with obviously different characters, different setting, and all the lark that goes along with that. Well, that's enough about Fire Force. Next, we move on to Rental Girlfriend, Kanjo Okarishimasu. Now, Rental is a show that I watched 3 episodes of and then dropped. So I could go pick up the manga and read all the manga and have been reading it every week since. Now, is that a testament to it being really good? No. While it's good, in terms of a romance and a drama, you know, it's worth a read. I couldn't tell you anything about the anime, but it's worth a read. Albeit it's very dragged out, at least it has been for the past 20 so chapters, but all in all, I actually quite enjoyed the story of Rental. But I couldn't tell you anything about the anime. I don't know how good of an adaptation it is. Presumably it's pretty good, although one thing I don't know is how they managed to get Sumi in there in only 12 episodes. From the amount I watched, when I stopped watching it, from when I picked it up, Sumi should not have been able to get in time, but hey, anime adaptation magic, I guess. And now let's move on to my personal bias. Yahiri Ore no Seishun Love Comedy wa Machigateru Kan, or the 3rd series of Origaru. 3rd series, 3rd season. Same difference. Now, I've mentioned a handful of times that Origaru is by far and away my favourite anime. So, it shouldn't surprise anyone that this is my favourite anime of the season from a purely personal perspective. I do plan to do a video not reviewing, but just talking about what I love about Origaru and why I love it so much. I've already made one video on Origaru, it's a very shit video, and it will be nothing like that. It will be purely me just talking about what makes the series special to me. But that probably won't be for a while. But Origaru is perfect. Like, to me, this is perfect. Nothing has managed to top what this show has done, in my opinion. I can't quite put it into words how much this show means to me. That's what I'm going to try in a dedicated video. But genuinely, if you like romance dramas, even rom-coms, watch Origaru. There is a glaring art style shift between seasons 1 and 2, but that honestly, I mean, the art style from season 2 onwards is better if you think that, oh, the art's more detailed, so it's better animation quality. But there is definitely an appeal and an aesthetic to both art styles. And if you want to, there is a video out there talking about the art style changes. I believe it's by Glass Reflection. Not Glass Reflection, Replay Value. Sorry, that was a slip of the tongue. He makes some really good videos. Check that out. He's got some really good videos on Origaru, but that's enough shilling another creator. Watch Origaru. Genuinely fantastic anime. highly recommend it if you like romance anime at all. Okay, next up we have not quite the last anime that I watched this season, but almost, in Shokeki no Soma Go no Sara, or the 5th season of Food Wars. Now, up until the end, I'd say that this is the best season. Maybe. That might be a stretch. It also might be recency bias. But Food Wars is probably my guilty pleasure anime. Even though it's not great, its writing's a bit mid, its characters are mid, it's ecchi, but I love Food Wars. It's got so much charm. I just love it. I don't know why, I just do. And the 5th season was genuinely really good up until the ending, because it felt way too rushed, and that they tried to cram too many things into a 20-minute episode. But that is how things go when you only have 13 episodes to cram in however many chapters, and when you get to the last episode you haven't covered all of them. And also, I know that the ending of the Food Wars manga is also a little bit mid, but I haven't read it, so I can't tell you how good of an adaptation it actually was. But I love Food Wars. In short, I love Food Wars. In long, I love Food Wars. Watch Food Wars. That's all I gotta say, really. Okay, next up we have Great Pretender, of which I've watched about half of. And that first half, fan-fucking-tastic. It's some of the best mystery, honestly, this show, fantastic. Probably the first show where a twist actually caught me off guard. And I think that's the reason why I love it, because it genuinely is fantastic. If you can get round to watching Great Pretender, seriously do, because it is up there as some of the best, at least the first half, because I can't talk about the rest of it. It is some of the best, and it is some of the best written, mystery, and, well, it's about conning people. It's so well written, honestly. Give it a good watch. The characters are also fantastic. Look at all these buzzwords I'm throwing out, but genuinely, give the show a watch. It's really, really good. And also, it looks fantastic, because it's by the Chads over at Wit Studios. But, enough about a great show. Onto a show that I dropped after a singular episode in Peter Grill and The Philosopher's Time. Fuck me, this was garbage. Moving on to Fruits Basket, 2nd season. Now, I didn't watch Fruits Basket when it aired, because I hadn't watched Fruits Basket's 1st season, or at least the 2019 readaptation of it. But having now watched all of Fruits Basket, I regret not watching Fruits Basket when it aired, because, fuck, this shit's good. Honestly, Fruits Basket is fantastic. If you're put off by the fact that it's a shoujo, fuck off. Watch it. It is truly incredible. Some of the best romance anime I've watched. It is really, really good. And the anime adaptation is really good. Visually, it's fantastic, especially when you compare it to the original Fruits Basket adaptation. It is incredible. Now, maybe I'm singing Fruits Basket's praises a little bit too much, but I do really like Fruits Basket. It is genuinely really, really good. And with that brings this season of Rundown Retrospective to an end, because, well, I haven't actually watched any of these other shows from this season. I didn't watch Jibia, I only heard that it was absolute garbage. I didn't watch this because I don't know anything about Japanese literature. Apararama, I heard good things about, but haven't watched. No, thank you. And the other shows just, well, yeah, that's about it. I just haven't watched any of them. And so, as I said, that brings this to an end. And given that, it's time for me to shill. Shill? Nope. Shamelessly self-promote. If you stuck it through to the end, well, you may as well subscribe, because you clearly found some reason to watch this entire thing. So, sub and watch more. Also, hit the like, comment any thoughts on any anime that you watch from the season, or on my opinions if you thought I'm wrong in any capacity. So, you can also hit the bell if you want to actually keep completely up to date, but you don't have to do that. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to force you anything. It's entirely your choice. Hell, if you disliked it, the dislike button's also free, because all of those buttons I just told you about, completely free. Even commenting is. But with that all out of the way, I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I hope to see you all next time for another video. Ta-ta for now.